I just wanted to make this quick video. As you can see, I have a decibel meter here on my phone, and I'm also wearing hearing protection. I actually was kind of paying attention to, I shoot a lot of airsoft guns, and so I was curious as to how loud they are, and they actually get kind of loud. So I'm gonna do like a PSA kind of thing for like health and safety for like hearing protection, and show how loud these things actually are. I'm gonna get one of my favorite ones out here. It's an HFC, and I'm gonna go ahead and like shoot it a bit just so you can see the numbers there. Let's see if we can get this on screen. I'm kind of gonna crop this video too. We'll do sideways shooting, because why not? I doubt I'll hit anything either. Alright, watch the number. Alright, I'm gonna do a couple. Maybe I'll show you guys this technique one day. About how to cock the gun with one hand. Okay, I saw some numbers there. There's actually a grid. Anyway, the point is that they peak often like 90 decibels peak. I can't hit anything like this because of the hop up. I'm just gonna have to shoot like this. Trying to get everything in frame with this silly video. Oh, I missed anyway. You could never shoot an actual slide action. Well, like, we already know over the thing, the airsoft guns, real guns, but you could never shoot like a powder actuated, or even one of those gas ones with the reciprocating slide, because you get whacked in the face. And plus, when I put it this close, it's actually really hard to see the rear sight. But I want to get it in frame. There we go. Okay. But anyway, the point is it's loud. Just do another couple more. I'm over the frame thing. Because now the airsoft gun's further away. The further away you are from the microphone, the quieter it gets. There, that one. I could see it going above 80. It's kind of like a frame rate thing too. It's only a little peak, but like a couple days ago I shot like in excess of 2,000 airsoft bullets. Here, now it's really close to the phone. And see, there I was shooting cardboard. It's the gun makes really loud noises. Like shooting pieces of metal, which I do, makes loud noises when they impact the target, but the gun makes loud noises too itself. The gun will peak over 90, and so if you're gonna like, I love that baseline 33. Oh, now I said it went to 32. Very funny. Can you see that number? This camera's so fuzzy. Whatever. Anyway, so like shooting a little bit of airsoft, it's not a big deal. It's probably not even a big deal, but it adds up, like. Excuse me. Okay, so that was like... Yeah, I wanted to start with that just to point out that airsoft guns are like... They're probably... almost every airsoft gun's going to be peaking above 90 decibels, so like you are actually affecting your hearing, and you probably won't appreciate it until you're like way older. And in some ways, you can't really even avoid the hearing loss. But like, anyway, the point is, it's not unreasonable to use hearing protection, especially if you're shooting a lot of airsoft guns for an excessive amount of time. Like, it's obviously nothing as loud as like the powder actuated firearms, but they're still loud. And they make my ears ring a little bit because like I have tinnitus. Anyway, that's the tinnitus loud airsoft PSA. The other thing that's I wanted to I know there's some like standards around this stuff, but like if you want someone who's like really doing an educational job, you probably want to like check out the actual source of this stuff, the Infinite Plane Society and IPS and Tim Osmond and all the people there in their Discord. Like I am, my YouTube channel is still primarily about like entertainment, and so like I find this stuff to be entertaining, and I'm not really gonna do a good job, but I wanted to like you wouldn't be able to see the mouse on my screen anyway. I wanted to point out this poster that I got here. This one. There we go. That poster. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I wanted to point out that poster. And like quickly summarize it, which is difficult because that's already 7 minutes in. I almost feel like I should split this into 2 videos. I just wanted to make a quick video anyway, and it's like kind of a longer video. Well, actually, like 7 minutes isn't that bad. Anyway, the reason I'm not using my well, I could use the nice camera, but the reason I'm using this laptop camera is because like I gave up my phone USB cable, and now I don't have a USB cable for my phone. So, and that's usually what I do most of my filming on anyway, is my phone. And I actually have some videos I've already made on my phone that I want to copy over and edit, and I want to do more stuff with those AI thumbnails. I want to do like side-by-side comparisons. Also, I think there's an algorithm trick where I kind of made a mistake on the last video I published with AI thumbnails. I said yes, the video uses AI, even though it doesn't. Like, it's just literally me putting my phone on a tripod and videoing my computer screen, and I'm talking. Like, it's not AI, and I think that negatively impacted the algorithm. Also, maybe some people were like bothered because I agreed to do an affiliate link. Like, these people reached out to me. Why would I say no to their offer? I enjoy using AI tools anyway. So when someone's offering me like a potential to make money and giving me a bunch of free credits on their AI tool, like, yeah, of course I'm gonna make the video. First of all, I enjoy making videos. Anyway, it's fun for me. Secondly, like I said, I enjoy playing with AI. I play with AI all the time because it's fun. And also, like, why would I turn down the ability to like get a little bit of extra money? Like, you don't have to use the affiliate link. No one's forcing you to click it. You know, I'm just like making a silly video that's fun and entertaining about how I use the AI thing to generate some thumbnails. Cause like, and it works good. Like, I find them to be fairly aesthetically satisfying. Like, it doesn't meet my own aesthetic, but my own aesthetic isn't perfect anyway. So like, from an art perspective, like, AI is not perfect. I'm not perfect. You know, it's kind of a it each has its own aesthetic, and like for me, like, art is about like exploration anyway. So like, it's a novelty either way. If I make art or I make AI art, Either way, it's a novelty and it's a iterative process about like trying and trying again and seeing what I can create and testing my abilities and skills and seeing what satisfies me visually or otherwise. Anyway, the point is I think I should have not clicked the AI button. I feel like I might have gotten more views if I didn't click the thing on AI because I didn't have to. Like, in no way does that really generate a realistic scene. Like, the only thing that was AI generated in the whole video was the thumbnails, and I don't think any of those thumbnails really qualify as realistic. Like, obviously, there's no glowing fireballs and spirals and shit that's happening. Like, and I'm not representing it as some like magical hologram machine. Like, it's obviously Photoshop, whether it's AI Photoshop or human Photoshop. It's not realistic. Nothing realistic was generated with the AI. So I did not have to click that button, and I probably shouldn't have. Whatever. It is what it is. And ultimately, it's all just practice. Like, the video is kind of difficult to watch. Like, I had to, like, most of the video is in excess of 200% speed anyway. Because I was limited to, like, 7 minutes. And that was probably a good thing. It makes me realize how I kind of talk slow anyway. I probably didn't need to go that fast. But I did want to get all the information. I did want to get the whole process as much as I could on that website, how the website works and all the features, which there's no way I could do that in 7 minutes without using a fast forward, especially for the first time through, because that was my first time using that website. So you got to see the first collection of thumbnails I made on it. And I'll be doing more stuff with it later, which you'll get to see, hopefully. Okay, so 12 minutes in. Let's talk about the poster I got from IPS, which is super cool. So you can't see it very well in the picture, and that's fine because, like, why would I give out the thing that dude is selling anyway? I can just talk about the topics. I might do a little bit of, like, turning and looking while, but most of it I already know quite well. Like, this thing here, this circle, is like the present, and it also represents the triangulation between the pro and the anti from the top down of the world stage entertainment complex, the media government entertainment complex. And so coming in, there's like the real future and the fake future. And so the real future is just normal events, like weather events. Like, we had, like, I could talk about some news stuff. I'm not totally insulated from that, even though, anyway, the point is, like, there was flooding, so that's a real event. There was a real flood. That wasn't fake. People are without electricity right now. That's real. Or they certainly were, and that will continue to happen in the future. There will be weather events. People will have power outages. That's like a normal staple of reality. And that stuff is like history. And then so we have fake history. Fake history is events that are manufactured in advance for the purposes of propaganda and conditioning the masses. I shouldn't have to point out to any specific events because if I do have to spoon feed you that stuff, this video is probably not for you anyway. But just for those who might be new to the channel or don't know, the fact of the matter is, and it shouldn't be viewed as like a oh my gosh, what a shocking shock. Like, the government and media and entertainment all collude and work together to push certain narratives and themes. And that's part of how we can identify a fake event and fake history, is because it's impossible coincidences. And so you can't do an appeal to you can't do a divine fallacy. You can't say, oh, it's, God, or oh, it's a simulation. Like, you have to rule out man. And the most Occam's razor reasonable conclusion is to say that mankind is working together, that government agencies are participating in fake events that are also recorded and produced like Hollywood style, but rather than using Hollywood, they use the news media to produce fake events which are presented to the public as real historical events. And at the same time, They are working together with media and entertainment across all spectrums: television, internet, radio, video games, art, like museums and stuff. Almost every field of mass media that exists is going to, on some ways, be working together with this government media collusion to present certain themes and narratives. So that's why you will see an event described in a Netflix TV show happening at the exact same time as a overly dramatized news event that is portrayed as real to the public. And how could this coincidence happen? You can come up with all your justifications, but as the coincidences stack up and the things that we call hoax indicators, the reasonable conclusion, it's a logical system to say this is fake until proven real. And in order to dissuade that argument, you have to address the hoax indicators. You have to come up with a more reasonable explanation that government, media, and entertainment are all working together. Explain that away first, and then you can, invalidate the conclusion that it's made by man, rather than saying, oh, these are real events, oh, it's, some mystical explanation, or oh, we just have to believe these are impossible coincidences that keep happening over and over again in a very repeatable, consistent, and predictable manner. So that's kind of the bottom line of what this is. And there's a few nuances about it. Part of the reason why these fake historical events get so much attention is because there's dual interpretations. That's the triangulation of the pro and the anti. One side accepts the story at face value. The other side says the event happened, but the narrative behind the event is a lie. And so both of those sides, the pro and the anti sides, they accept the fundamental premise of the news story. They just argue about the interpretation, about who done it and what really happened, but they still say it happened. They just say it happened under different conditions, different actors, different perpetrators, but they both, the pro side that accepts the face value story that says the media is telling the truth, this happened as described, and the anti side that says, like, oh, it's a conspiracy, they're lying to us, the event really happened, but the perpetrator is different. Both sides accept the fundamental premise, and that's why that debate is what makes it real for them, that they're now both sides are fighting over the same fake event, and they're not able to move out of that fight to look and say, oh, the fundamental premise is false. This is manufactured history. And because of this system, the integration between fake news becomes fake history. There's the real history and the fake events, and they meet in the present, and then they go into history, and bam, just like that, history is manufactured. That's the process that's described in the upper portion of this poster. And I remember a little bit of, what's this say? Okay, so yeah. So fundamentally, this creates a distinction. Where I'm coming from, where IPS is at, is the off-world stage. We've begun to call this place Realville. So this is a place of Gnosticism, of knowledge, not belief. And that's a distinction, and it's a very important distinction to highlight, because both the pro and the anti are believers. They believe the fundamental premise without sufficient evidence, and they refuse to address the hoax indicators, saying I saw it on TV. Like we've said a million times before, saying I saw it on TV is not actually an argument for the validity of an event. So you're a believer. Whether you believe in a conspiracy theory or you believe in the news as presented, you're still fundamentally a believer in that fake event. You're a believer in the fake history, because you don't have the tools, you're not using the tools to separate the fake from the real. And so therefore your news has been bent, your history has been bent. So that's what this middle part is, separating the Gnosticism, not literal Gnosticism, but a media Gnosticism of the form of disbelief of knowledge applied to media, as opposed to believing media, whether you're just accepting the fundamental premise of media and believing conspiracy alt media, or if you are accepting the media as presented, whether you're the pro or the anti side, you're still a believer. So that's what the middle portion is. And then the lower portion kind of extends on that, defining the auto belief, auto disbelief versus auto hoaxing. Auto belief and auto disbelief are both forms of MSM or MSM plus. And it's kind of, I kind of already covered a lot of that. But this is what this poster is a really great outline, and this is the off-world stage, the auto hoax perspective that says, when the presence of hoax indicators is identified, then we don't accept that. We say fake until proven real because of the presence of hoax indicators that have yet to be refuted. Pro and anti MSM plus and MSM. See, the pros and the antis are both MSM and MSM plus. It just depends on what flavor of MSM. If you believe in alt media, you believe in conspiracy theories, you believe, see that keyword, in conspiracy theories, you might be anti, but you're still MSM because you're still accepting premises. And you're also MSM plus because you're taking this story and you're adding to it. The pro side, they also have narratives, and they're triangulated against itself. Each side rejects the other side, but never addresses the fundamental event. So that's why they accept that fundamental event. That's why they usually don't even notice that they're accepting the fundamental event, because they're too busy fighting with each other, accepting their MSM and adding a plus to the other side's MSM. So they're stuck in this debate that's been manufactured from the top down, while on the other side we have, rather than pro or anti, auto belief or auto disbelief. And that's important to highlight here, is that automatically disbelieving things without reasons, without hoax indicators, without a logical structure for it, you're no better than the auto believers. If you say, you might, it's like the broken clock can be right sometimes. The auto believers are right sometimes. If you automatically believe a story about a flood, yeah, you're correct, the flood happened, but if you don't have a system for why, then you're just as bad as the auto disbelievers. Anyone who would automatically disbelieve so when some people are probably out there saying, oh, that flood is all AI, it's all CGI, it's not real, that's auto disbelief. You don't have any good reasons for disbelieving that some totally normal event happened, but you're going to disbelieve it anyway because you're lost in the reflexive disbelief because it works sometimes. Because you can automatically disbelieve a fake news story, and technically you're correct, but your reasoning for getting to that correct answer is not good. You don't have a working model. This model, the auto hoaxing model, works because it's built on logic and hoax indicators. That's why I can say the flood is real while the fake news event is fake history. That's why I can separate between real and fake things effectively, because I have a functioning operating system. So that's like the bottom line. Very fitting that that's on the bottom of the poster, because you're auto believing, auto disbelieving, one or the other, or you're auto hoaxing, and that's a totally distinct category, hence the barrier right there. And also, we have some super cool penguin art. We've got the cyborg penguins all up in there. Like I say, I'm not really trying to show off the art. I'm really covering the content of the poster. If you want the art, if you like it, go ahead and buy the poster. It's really quite affordable. And you too can be one step closer to having a strong, robust operating system. The real benefit of this, other than the art, other than knowledge, Gnosticism, overbelief, those benefits, what that gives you is ataraxia. It's a peace of mind. That you're not stuck at the current thing, following the endlessly bouncing around laser pointer of Big Brother. Oh, look at this event. Oh, look at that event. Hopelessly dependent on the media to tell you what is or isn't real. Whether your media of choice is the conspiracy alt media or the mainstream accepted, auto belief, auto disbelief, MSM, MSM minus, MSM plus. We're on MSM minus, the off-world stage. That means we're subtracting the fundamental premise. MSM is accepting the fundamental premise. MSM plus is accepting the fundamental premise and adding extra narratives on top of it. the way that a conspiracy theorist might. So that's it. That's kind of it. You know, if you have MSM minus, you have ataraxia. You can focus on things. You can not have the laser pointer of Big Brother telling you where to look all the time. You know, you can distinguish between real news and fake news because you have a model for that. And that is, it's not like you're gonna ascend to godhood or something, or it's like some, you're constantly in a state of ecstasy. Like it's not magic. It's not some, you know, I don't know what it would be sold as the way some people would sell it, but it's like you have some extra space in your head now that was formerly occupied with a bunch of fear and misanthropy. I wish you could see the mouse pointer. It doesn't matter anyway, because that's kind of, I'm just kind of pointing around on this map with the mouse pointer, which you can't at all see. Anyway, the point is that believing in the fundamental premises, whether you're taking an MSM or MSM plus view of a fundamental fake history story, if you believe that, you're accepting all kinds of premises. You're accepting all kinds of views about humanity. You're probably either knowingly or unknowingly in a state of misanthropy. You probably have anxieties about things that don't actually exist. You are in taraxia, which is a state of terror. Part of your mind is, you know, versus ataraxia, which is the state of not being terrified, which is achieved through knowledge. Belief will create endless fears, while knowledge takes that away. It reduces it. Because, like, you know, sure, there's still stuff to be afraid of. Nobody wants to get a flood. No one wants to be trapped in a week-long power outage. You know. But, like, you can separate the real from fake. Like, I don't have to be worried about the International Space Station falling out of the sky and blowing my house up. That's one worry that I don't have because I am an MSM minus and I've subtracted unverifiable claims that are full of hoax indicators that have gone unaddressed. So until someone can address all of the hoax indicators around the International Space Station, I'm going to continue to not be afraid of it falling out of the sky and crashing through my house. So that's how that works. That's why I have a bit more ataraxia than MSM or MSM plus. MSM is going to say, yeah, the International Space Station's up there, and yeah, I could fall out of the sky at any time. MSM plus is like, yeah, it's fake, but there's aliens in a secret space program, so some UFO could fall out of the sky anytime and crash through my house. So both of these sides, you know, are accepting the fundamental premise of objects in orbit and things in space that could fall out of the sky and like crush them at any time. You know, so they have a fear. They have a constant unresolved fear in their mind that maybe they've never even really looked at that much. Because they don't have a way to separate out certain pieces of fake history and fake news. So while they're walking around the world spending a percentage of their brain power being afraid of the International Space Station or UFOs, I don't have that problem. So I have a little bit more ataraxia than these other two options. That's the benefit. That is the benefit of this operating system of media Gnosticism. So I'm glad I could clarify that and kind of, you know, but it's not self-gratifying. Like, even if the truth would give me more terror, I would rather know the truth. I would rather be a media Gnostic. That's just incidental bonus, is the ataraxia. It doesn't, it's not a requirement, and it's not the purpose of this whole thing. The purpose of this thing is not to get ataraxia as much as it is to arrive at the correct conclusions. So I think I'll leave it with that. 30-minute video. Yeah, quick, speedy video of me talking and stuff, and like that's kind of why these actually topically fit together, is because the loudness of the airsoft gun is real. That is not fake news. That PSA I made at the beginning about how loud airsoft guns are, and I showed you empirically how every airsoft gun shot peaks at above 90 decibels, and why it's reasonable to wear hearing protection even when shooting airsoft, especially if you have tinnitus. So that's very real. That's not fake history. None of this is AI. I'm even gonna make a real thumbnail for it. So that's the video. Thanks for watching. Hope y'all have a good day, good time. I got a lot of videos in the works. Feel free to put any requests you got in the comments. I'm gonna work on the another review of that triple tech. We'll get it out under direct sunlight and compare it. I don't have too many cool fancy devices, so I'll probably just gonna have to do like I did in the first video, but I'll do it under direct sunlight. I'm gonna pull out my Pixel 8 Pro, and I'm gonna pull out the triple tech, and we can look at both of those side by side under direct sunlight with the same background, same picture. I'll pull up a picture on them and put them both at max brightness, and we'll see side by side. See if the camera, maybe I'll pull multiple cameras. I guess I'll probably just a little preview for how I'm thinking about doing this video. Feel free to add any comments. I think I'm going to pull out the Canon 5D and pull out my Pixel 7 and video with both of those cameras, and then under direct sunlight, what I'll be videoing with those two cameras will be the Triple Tech X Pro and the Pixel 8 Pro, and we'll look at them side by side at maximum brightness, displaying the same image, maybe a couple different images, to see how they do with different color palettes under direct sunlight. And we'll do a quick video, hopefully quicker than this one even. If you got any other ideas, I have a good portion of every spring airsoft pistol currently on the market right now. So if there's any spring airsoft pistols you would like to have reviewed, there's a fair chance I already own that gun. Feel free to reach out. Otherwise, have a great day. See you guys in the next video.